Challenger. Today I wanted to talk about payroll taxes. Yes, these are the taxes that come out of your paycheck if you're an employee. If you're an employer, they're also known as employment taxes. They're kind of one and the same. It's the federal, the state, the Social Security, and the Medicare taxes that come out, and the employer sends them in on the taxpayer's behalf or the employee's behalf to the IRS. But sometimes they run into cash flow problems and they don't send the money in. That's a scary place to be, because the penalties for not depositing and not paying on time, and sometimes not even filing those returns, is ridiculous. A lot of taxpayers fuss and complain about the penalties that are associated with not filing individual tax return. If it's a payroll tax or an employment tax situation, the penalties are even worse. It's ridiculous. It makes it really, really hard to get up over that hump. But in essence, what it is the employer has mandated or forced the IRS to give them a short-term loan. Now, they don't realize it. Employers don't look at this as a short-term loan. They look at it as, I'll make up for it. They never intend, very seldom, I should say, do they intend to not pay the money. It usually is out of a necessity because they have poor cash flow in their business. But one of the things to be aware of is this particular tax the IRS takes very seriously. 75% of all taxes collected in our nation are employment taxes, which means if employers stop sending this in, our system collapses. We've got a significant problem. Therefore, the IRS usually gets after this pretty aggressively. Now, there are situations, and I've seen a lot of them, where the employer owes a lot of money and the IRS doesn't even send a notice, barely. Never gets to the point of levy. And then I see employers that owe a little bit of money and the revenue officer is knocking on their door. And I just don't understand the impact. But I can tell you that with the 87,000 new employee or revenue officers or IRS agents that have been slated to be hired, that's one of the areas is collection, because they know it's a significant problem. Also, when the employer is sending these, not sending these taxes, and there's also an issue when that for them as a responsible party. And that's another whole conversation that we'll have. We'll talk about one of these days what it means to be a responsible party with the IRS. But just know that if you are an employer and you are not sending in those payroll taxes, you need to get help ASAP. You need to make sure that you're protected. You need to make sure that your business is protected. You need to make sure that your personal finances are protected. You need to make sure that you have a plan to get this taken care of. Otherwise, it will without a doubt put you out of business, because the IRS can come in and lock down your door. One of the things that they say, you're not a viable business, we're not going to let you keep going on. So hopefully, if you owe payroll taxes, you're going to sit down, you're going to kind of figure out what you need to do next. The number is 501-725-2626. Don't forget, like and subscribe to our channel so you're able to stay up to date with all the good stuff that's going on with the IRS. Take care. Bye for now.